The figure of the Celtic Druid, shrouded in mist and legend, remains one of history's most enigmatic figures, inspiring both fascination and confusion for millennia. Were they powerful priests, wise scholars, skilled healers, or merely a product of Roman propaganda aimed at demonizing their Celtic enemies? The term Druid itself derives from the Celtic word druidos, generally understood to mean knowing tree or wise one, hinting at a deep connection with the natural world. However, the source material on Druids is frustratingly scarce, primarily filtered through the accounts of Roman writers, Greek observers, and later medieval chroniclers, each with their own biases and agendas. The earliest references to Druids appear in Greek writings of the 6th century BC, notably in the works of Herodotus and Posidonius, but these are brief and often contradictory, offering glimpses rather than comprehensive portraits. Julius Caesar, in his Gallic Wars, around 50 BC, provides the most extensive Roman description of the Druids, portraying them as a powerful and influential class within Celtic society, responsible for religious ceremonies, education, and even legal judgments. Caesar depicted Druids as organized into hierarchies, with some specializing in poetry and prophecy, others in judgment, and still others dedicated to the interpretation of natural laws, claiming they possess knowledge of the movements of the stars, the phases of the moon, and the properties of plants. He also described their initiation rituals as rigorous and lengthy, requiring candidates to abstain from sex and observe silence for a considerable period, and mentioned the practice of human sacrifice, which he used to justify the Roman conquest of Gaul. However, Caesar's account is widely believed to have been colored by his desire to justify the Roman conquest and to demonize the Celtic enemy, potentially exaggerating their power and highlighting practices that would shock Roman sensibilities. Other Roman writers, such as Tacitus and Pliny the Elder, also mentioned Druids, often echoing Caesar's descriptions or adding further details about their beliefs and practices, including their reverence for sacred groves, oak trees, and springs. Pliny the Elder, in his Natural History, describes Druids as practicing medicinal arts and possessing extensive knowledge of plant lore, suggesting a practical aspect to their expertise beyond purely ritualistic roles. The Greek writer Diodorus Siculus, writing in the 1st century AD, offered a more philosophical perspective on Druidism, emphasizing their emphasis on the transmigration of souls and their belief in the cyclical nature of time. These classical accounts, despite their value, present a skewed picture, largely shaped by the perspectives of outsiders attempting to understand a culture fundamentally different from their own. The archaeological record offers tantalizing, albeit fragmentary, evidence of Celtic religious practices that may be linked to Druidism. But directly proving the existence and role of Druids through material remains is exceptionally difficult. Numerous ring forts, hill forts, and ceremonial sites across Celtic lands bear witness to complex social and religious structures. But determining the specific role of Druids within these settings remains a matter of scholarly debate. Discoveries of votive offerings, such as carved stones, bronze storks, neck rings, and figurines, suggest a rich and vibrant religious life. But attributing these directly to Druidic practices is often speculative. The Gundestrup cauldron, a silver vessel decorated with elaborate scenes of Celtic deities and rituals, provides a rare visual representation of Celtic religious beliefs, potentially offering clues about the role of Druids within these ceremonies. However, interpreting the images on the cauldron is complex, and the precise meaning of the scenes remains open to interpretation by scholars. Medieval Irish and Welsh literature offers a different, later perspective on Druids, often portraying them as powerful magicians, healers, and poets, capable of wielding supernatural powers and possessing vast knowledge of ancient lore. These literary accounts, while valuable for understanding later Celtic culture, are heavily influenced by Christian beliefs and often conflate Druids with figures from Celtic mythology and folklore. The Welsh Mabinogion, a collection of medieval Welsh tales, features numerous figures associated with Druidic traditions, such as Merlin, a powerful wizard and prophet who embodies the mystical and magical aspects of Druidic lore. Irish myths and legends also contain references to Druids, often portraying them as keepers of ancient knowledge and intermediaries between the human and supernatural realms. The concept of Ogham, an early medieval Irish alphabet consisting of carved strokes on stone or wood, has been linked to Druidic traditions, with some scholars suggesting that it may have been used for divination or to record Druidic knowledge. However, the use of Ogham remains a subject of ongoing debate among scholars, and its connection to Druidic practices is not definitively established. The suppression of Druidic traditions following the Roman conquest and the subsequent Christianization of Celtic lands significantly contributed to the decline of Druidism and the scarcity of reliable information about their practices. Christian missionaries actively sought to eradicate pagan beliefs and practices, often demonizing Druids and portraying them as enemies of the faith. The destruction of sacred groves, the persecution of Druids, and the dismantling of traditional social structures all contributed to the gradual disappearance of Druidic traditions. Despite the challenges in reconstructing a complete picture of Druidic beliefs and practices, the enduring fascination with Druids reflects their symbolic importance in Celtic culture and their continued relevance in contemporary society. The modern Druid revival, which began in the 18th century, draws inspiration from ancient Celtic traditions and seeks to reconnect with nature, promote spiritual growth, and celebrate cultural heritage. While modern Druidry is a distinct phenomenon, rooted in contemporary concerns and values, it nonetheless seeks to preserve the memory of ancient Druids and to draw wisdom from their connection to the natural world. The mystery surrounding the Druids persists, fueled by the scarcity of reliable sources, the complexity of ancient Celtic culture, and the enduring power of myth and legend. The figure of the Druid remains a potent symbol of Celtic identity, wisdom, and connection to the natural world, captivating the imagination and inspiring a search for deeper meaning. Ultimately, understanding the Druids requires a nuanced approach, acknowledging the biases of ancient sources, piecing together fragmentary evidence, and recognizing the enduring power of myth and legend. The search for the truth about the Druids is an ongoing journey, one that promises to reveal further insights into the rich and complex history of Celtic culture.